One more thing that we change, usually in the spring, is the water filter for the rig.
This week we want to share with you a bunch of little tidbits.
Bits of information that are necessary, but a lot of people forget about them.
And they don't really have their own category, and they're just little maintenance items that you should be keeping an eye on and taking care of from time to time. So let's get right into the first one.
Here I am, sitting on the floor in front of my fridge. Just so you know, I have the 315 RLTS. So the fridge is in a slide with the fireplace and the stove. But right beside that, that is not part of a slide out, is our furnace. And it is behind a panel, basically below the hutch. And this is it here. I've got it all opened up. And we've been living in this unit for almost a year and a half. Well, a little over a year and a half, say. And I never took this panel off before. I'm sure glad I did today, because the furnace, circuit boards, and pretty much about a third of the way down one side, which I will just show you here. This is where we are. We've got the two drawers up top here in the hutch. We've got the breaker box over here on the one side, which access is from over here. And now the furnace over here, this whole side here, when I pulled this panel off, up to about here, so roughly a third, was caked on with dust. I vacuumed it off. Dyson, fantastic. Had the extendable hose there and cleaned that all up. And then I was able to get up top here, if I can show you a little bit. This area here, right above the circuit board, had a lot of dust on it as well. And there was some caked on dust on the circuit board itself. On the side here, which I saw from through the drawer when I had the drawer out, this little area here right on the end of the circuit board, that was covered in dust as well. So there was no good ventilation for the fan or the circuit boards. I would recommend getting in there at least once every 6 months. You don't want to have furnace issues. You don't want to have fire issues. I just thought I'd point it out. Just one of the little things I found as I was cleaning and taking things apart, checking stuff out. One thing I forgot to mention, the circuit board on the top, I couldn't really vacuum that out. I'm not going to be taking the shell of the furnace apart, but I used canned air. Got this at the dollar store. You can pick it up at any stationery store, probably Walmart, Amazon, any mom and pop place that works on electronics. And I got in there with the nozzle, blew out the board. Just have to be careful, give it a shake every once in a while so you're not spraying any, well, it's almost like a moisture that comes out of the can. If you spray it for too long, just be aware of that. You don't want any moisture going onto any circuit boards.
We had a little problem the other day. We had had the awning out all day, I don't know, I think it was a Sunday, and then we had it tilted, loosened off the little dial-y thing, and that's my technical term, and then brought the awning in. Next day it was raining, and I wanted to put the awning out so I could dry off the dogs under the awning, and the one side was sticky.
The arm closest to the front of the trailer, when Miriam tried to extend it, it came out from the back. The front came out a little bit and then jumped, which I was assuming that the problem was something to do with the tension arm that is in there, but we're not sure yet because we haven't fully extended it since. And last night we tried to extend it. This side would not even move. the back side came out. We had to put it back in just to keep the tension on the awning itself. So now we're going to give it a try and see if it actually moves at all without me having to pull it. I will sit here and watch the awning move or not. Stop. Pull it back. Try it again. Go ahead. Stop. See, the back is extending, the front is not moving at all. So retract, please. And now I'm going to try and see if this will move at all. Oh, you know what? I can see the problem.
What?
I found the problem. When it did retract, the top 12 inches or so is inside the frame, so it's jammed. So when it retracted, it was out maybe a quarter of an inch and thus has stuck in there.
Oh, so that's supposed to be on the outside.
Yes. See right where the gap is there?
Yeah.
I'll show you.
I see.
Right here. This part should be on the outside of this. So once we pull it out, I will try and bend that back in a little bit to level it off, and we should be good.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, stop. Okay, extend it. Keep going all the way out. Back a little bit. Okay, that's good. Good. Hold it right there.
Now we need to figure out why it's doing that.
I will go grab the ladder and see if this is twisted or if it's twisted up top here. It looks fairly straight, but for some reason it just moved a little bit. This here is a slide out dry lube. It's a silicone protectant, rust inhibitor. I don't use it very often. This can is almost full and it's 2 years old. But one thing I do use it for is the valves for the black and gray tanks, and they stick probably once every 3 or 4 months. It'll get a little tight, so I just give a little bit of spray on there, open and close the valves about a half a dozen times, and it takes care of that. So all we do is a little bit of spray, and then you work it in and out half a dozen times or so. The gray tanks we leave open. Black I'm not going to do right now because I just dumped it yesterday, so we're all good here.
I noticed that the tank dump valves are very rusty, Brent.
They look rusty, but it's just brown. That is actually the lube that is sitting on the outside of the entire casing, I guess you could call it.
Okay.
So it is not rust, it is dry lube.
Oh, okay, good to know. What are you showing us now, Brent?
Okay, this is not a very common maintenance piece. It's just the hot water tank, pulling the drain plug. The plugs for this, a lot of people have thought different kinds of plugs or extensions for draining the tank. Some people use brass. So I do have a brass one, and I bought it and used it for about a month. And then I went to an RV show and found out from a service tech at one of the seminars that you should only use plastic because that's what the manufacturer recommends. The brass ones, since we have an aluminum tank, the reason being that I shouldn't use brass is that an aluminum tank, and it would be the strong point. So if there's going to be a blowout and your pressure relief valve malfunctions for whatever reason, you're going to rupture your tank, and you're going to be looking at probably a $300, $400, $500, $800 bill because of a brass plug instead of a plastic one. So I just use plastic, which is Nice and easy, they're nice and cheap. I got a dozen of them on Amazon.com, which is the American version, the original, if you like. I think it was about $10 or $11 for a dozen, with $7 shipping and handling, delivered to my door. So, works out a lot cheaper. So all you do, when you're going to change out your plug, you pull your pressure relief valve, and while you're doing that, you turn your water off. That way there's no more water circulating into the tank. Like this. Once this starts draining, you go inside and turn off the power to your hot water tank.
The hot water is, no, that's the pump. Sorry, give me a second. There. I had to read all the buttons. So here we can run our hot water tank off of the gas or electric. So we need to make sure those are off. None of those two buttons are heated or lit up. I went and shut off the electric going to the tank.
So it's a good idea when you're draining the tank to shut off the power to it so you don't burn out the element. And if you do burn it out, well, it's going to be pricey. So better safe than sorry. So even though the tank is going to be only empty for 5-10 minutes, it's better to just turn the heat off. So now all I've done is, with the next one, get some Teflon tape. I usually keep about 4 or 5 rolls of this kicking around. That's what I use to put on the new plug. And then I just take it here. There's still a little bit of moisture water coming out of there. You can start it with your fingers just to start the threading. Once you get a couple threads in, and with the Teflon tape there, it will be a little bit tighter. All I do, get it on there, do it as tight as possible with hand. I go about halfway up on the threads. So it's about 3 or 4, yeah, probably 2 full rotations, shall we say. And once that's in, I'm going to leave the pressure relief valve open. I'm going to turn on the water. And if you want to listen a little bit closer, with the pressure relief valve open, you can hear the water flowing in there. So once it's started to fill up a little bit and you get half a tank full, you can turn your power back on for the heating element, and then everything will be fine. Okay, the next little tidbit of information is for changing the water filter. Our unit just has this tiny little water filter. This one is made by Aquacrest. I've been using the
blue one.
The blue one, it's made by Taste Pure. I've been using that one for about 2 years. Thought I'd give this one a try. Just playing with different prices and qualities. This one here is rated for 1,350 gallons. I have not done the math. I'm guessing it's every 3 to 5 months.
Full time.
For full timers. If you're just a weekend warrior, you might want to do it once a year or once every 2 years. It should be all fine and well and good. What I do is I always write the date on the new one that I'm putting in, and you might notice there's a little bit of water leaking. I do have the water turned on, so I have to turn that off right now, and then I will show you how I've modified my freshwater area. As you may have noticed, the water is dripping a little bit. I had to go shut off the water as I'm going to be changing the filter out. And it's very simple with this modification. I've got the filter right up on the top of the roof here with a couple of hose clamps that I've screwed into the plywood decking right above the storage bay area. And I've loosened off the screws already. And this, if you want to take a look down here, you can see how I've got it set up for my water intake. And I've got about 2.5 feet of hose to a quick connect. So I just pop that off, little bit of water leaks, but that's no big deal. And then on this end, I've got a quick connect as well. So that's the water filter. Got a quick connect here, quick connect here. And I also use the Teflon tape on that as well, so there's no leakage. And with the new one, actually this is the new one, so I'm cheating a little bit. I just put it in here. It's where it's going to sit. I've got my date on it. Got the brass quick connect here. And I'm going to need a drop of dish soap.
What's the dish soap for, Brent?
The dish soap is for lubricating the brass quick connects. As I put it in, over time it can get a little bit tight, I guess you could say. There we go. It's kind of an awkward angle, so I have to put it in together.
Well, plus we still have our insulated hose on there.
Yeah, the insulated hose will be coming off soon. I've got a regular white drinking water hose that I will be putting on probably within the next 2 weeks or so, once I get some other work finished off. The other end, as you can see, that pops on nice and easy because that's a plastic end. And then that goes straight into the in-tank for the city water. All I have to do is tighten up these two screws, and all that is a flathead screwdriver.
And done.
Now I can turn the water on.
What you got for us now, Brent?
This little tidbit of information is mainly thanks to Dometic. We have Dometic 9100 awnings. They're both power awnings. They never came with the manual override instructions, really. But what I've found is I've ordered these straps online, and nice, easy little convenience. It's about a 6.5, 7 foot strap. All you do is when you have your awning all the way out, there's a little trench right there on the awning, and then you slide it all the way to the middle. Whoops, sorry.
Ow.
That will be your manual override if you ever have a power outage. For whatever reason, I had to get a second one because I have two awnings. But what you want to do is have somebody holding this awning when your power goes out, whether it be fuse box, junction box, battery dead, whatever. To get the awning back in that case, you'll have someone hold this, and then if you want to come over here, I will show you right up here, there's two screws. When you have somebody, you'll actually, before you take these screws out, it doesn't matter which one you do first, you take them both out and make sure somebody's holding on to that awning strap nice and tight. Take these screws out, and then you start to roll the awning back up, and with that person there on the strap, goes all the way back in, and that will get the awning back all the way in. Once it's back in, put these two screws back in so it doesn't flop out on you when you're cruising down the road. And then you can get it to a mechanic or technician that knows what they're doing to fix it.
Slide seals.
The slide seal conditioner. This is what the dealer recommended to us when we first bought our trailer. We're going on 2 years now. It's still probably about a third full. I used it probably once every 2 months or so when I first got it. And this is actually very easy to use. Just spray it on and spread it out with a cloth, nice and easy. An easier way and a cheaper way, I still keep this for some things that I can't use this for. thanks to my wife, donating one of her socks that had a hole in it. And I put baby powder in it. This is actually a very easy, economical way to lube your slide seals. And I've been doing this for about 18 months and never had an issue, never had a crack. Works great. The other seal that I usually use this on, I use this mainly on the storage seals. I could use the baby powder, it would work a little bit, but this is a little bit harder rubber. I would like to get a full coverage, so when I spray it on, give it a good wipe all the way around, make sure it's nice and clean. This seal doesn't take as much damage or pressure as the slide seals, because the slide seals are quite a bit larger and they have a wider opening to protect, I guess you could say. So the baby powder works great on those. I just use the regular slide out rubber seal treatment on all of our storage doors.
First off, I'd like to share that I got my Pfizer shot today.
I get mine next week.
Yay! So
First of two, so.
First of two, but hey, it's a start.
Yeah.
And we just finished sharing all those little tidbits with you for maintenance.
A lot of it's fairly basic maintenance. Some of it, there's some of things that you might actually do in addition to what we've put on. So maybe just leave it in the comments below. We'd be interested to hear.
And don't wear a light colored shirt or else you end up with a grease stain like Brent.
Guilty.
That's all for this week.
Give us a thumbs up if you like what you see.
Don't forget to subscribe.
And ring that bell for notifications.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye. What's that?
Okay. Oh, gonna have to put these on.
Oh, she's nice and bright out today. Beautiful day.
Yes, we are. So, the side closest to the trailer wasn't coming out.
Well, both sides are the same distance.
To the front of the trailer. So
Yeah. Sorry. That should be okay.
Okay. So I went and turned off the hot water.
It's a good idea. If the tank is going to be empty, you don't want power going to heat up something that isn't there. That can basically fry your motherboard.
Your heating element?
The heating element, there we go. I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind here. Let's start that over again.
Alright, carry on.
Okay.
From the top. You turned off the water.
So as you may have noticed, there's a little bit of water leaking. And the camera's
You reading my setup, Brent?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll stop messing with the GoPro, Brent.
So I will not touch this basket as the GoPro is attached to it.